Okay, nasai minasan. Today we're gonna talk about Ohsama Sentai King Ohger, episode 31. This episode is a elaborated prank on Durajin itself, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But also at the same time, it also kind of like tell us that the ending to this show might be closer than we think, because now that the status quo between the Ohsama Sentai and the galactic insect has been turned upside down, we might actually start to see that the king, the Rajin itself, is gonna start to do a lot of different things just to, like, get his hand dirty, really start to do things to mess with the Ohsama Sentai. And that is the moment that we are actually gonna see the Ohsama Sentai is gonna defeat the jester one after another. So I'm thinking maybe just 9 more episodes to go before we actually close the series, because like I don't want them to drag too much. Okay, like they still can do one episode with the jester that has years to do anything to the Ohsama Sentai, so we can do one episode with that jester, and after that we can just kind of like go through the Grody phase once again. Like we might actually get to see Grody losing once again, and that is 2 episodes, and then we are gonna see them kind of like figuring out a way to defeat the galactic insect itself, like how to defeat Durajin, because Durajin power currently is really OP. Okay, like they can't even touch him at all, so they really need to figure out a way to touch Durajin. So maybe we're gonna spend 1 episode on that, and then another episode just to close up the chapter a little bit. So like I said, there's like at least like 4 more episodes that I can think that is like really important to the story. So I'm just gonna give it like a 9 episode, because the next episode is gonna be a crossover episode with the I'm not sure what Sentai that is, but if you know, let me know in the comment section below. If not mistaken, it's the Q Ranger, something like that. But then again, I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm not like I said many times in this channel, I'm not like a Super Sentai mania. I am a Kamen Rider mania. So for me, this is new. Okay, like but I love the suit though. I really love the suit that we actually get to see from the dragon, the dinosaur itself. So it is really amazing. But with that being said, let us talk about what happened in this episode. Okay, episode 31, really amazing. I really love how they actually show Jeremy is back into the hammock itself. I think that is like a perfect callback to the scene of Jeremy. Like when he's always sulking, like when he's always go through kind of like emotional stage, he always go like kind of like hide in a hammock itself. It's kind of like his how they say, like area of peace. Like that is his comfort zone. And I think mostly the reason why we actually get to see him always go back to the hammock is because the hammock might actually be created out of the string of the mom itself. So that is why every single time when he felt like he needs assurance, when he need a place to kind of like lay down and lay quiet a little bit, he always go to the hammock, because it might actually make him felt like, hey, I in my mother's embrace once again, something like that. Okay, so that is a really cool touch. But another really amazing thing that we saw in this episode is gonna be the choreography of Jeremy's mother, Nephilia. Okay, so I think her action scene is so good, man. Like when we saw her fighting with Daigo, Subarashi, oh my god, that fight scene is so good. We really need more of those fight scenes in the series itself. Like it really felt like Minato versus Obito in the Naruto series. Okay, like it really felt like how OP the parents actually is. Like Jeremy's mom just brutally defeated Daigo. I think she killed Daigo. Okay, so but after she defeated Daigo, all the Bugnarak all team up together to take her down, and I think that is like really sad. Okay, like instead of the defeat of Daigo being the water that cools the fire and kind of like kills the fire, it actually becomes the oils that cause the fire to burn even brighter. I think that is a really interesting way of storytelling. So I think this entire episode they kind of like focus on the subtext itself, okay? But if we really want to look at the subtext behind, like, why does the Bugnarak doesn't stand behind Jeremy's mother when even after she defeated Daigo itself, is because Jeremy's mother has already betrayed the Bugnarak. In the view of the Bugnarak, Jeremy's mom is a traitor because she fell in love with a human king itself and give birth to a half human, half Bugnarak children. So them seeing Jeremy's mom manage to defeat Daigo, they're not gonna like rally behind her. It's like, wow, this is gonna be our new queen of Bugnarak. This is gonna be our leader to lead us into battle or lead us into a new era of Bugnarak. No, because for the simple fact that she is a traitor. So we need to remember, like, that is the context, that is the subtext that has been established to us, and that is why, like, Jeremy's mom even if she managed to defeat Daigo, the Bugnarak would not rally behind her. And that is something that Jeremy's definitely learned. Like, she cannot just lead the Bugnarak to loyalty if he kind of like conquer the Bugnarak through means of violence itself. And if he really wants to lead the Bugnarak into a new era where there is a peace possibility and coexistence with humanity, we really need to see, like, Jeremy like doing things differently from how like the previous king of Bugnarak do things as well. But speaking of Bugnarak and human coexisting, one thing that I felt really sad so far in the series is that we don't really get to see human and Bugnarak interacting with one another. We don't actually see that in kind of just simple B-roll, you know, like just when we go to a new country, like we travel from one country to another, we don't actually get to see the Bugnarak is actually helping in the other country itself. We don't get to see Bugnarak inside Ishabana. We don't get to see Bugnarak in Nagosoba. We don't get to see them anywhere at all. We only saw them in the land of the in-between itself. So I really want to see the Bugnarak actually is involved in the other country and they are actually living amongst the humans itself. And I think that is gonna be really amazing, because I really feel like at the end of the day there is gonna be a point in time where the kingdom of the in-between is gonna be kind of like a empty kingdom. It's gonna be a kingdom where all the Bugnarak is gonna live all over the world, and and the human is gonna be living in the land of the in-between as well. So they might not actually be the highest in population, but they are definitely the one that is gonna like make sure all the peace between especially the rights of the Bugnarak is not being like ignored by the humans itself. So I think that is really amazing, okay? But I think another amazing thing in this episode is kind of like the stupid humor of the series itself. Like, in the midst of madness, in the midst of seriousness and tense moment, we actually get to see something really dumb and stupid as well, okay? And that is the fact that all of them join in the prank to prank Durajin itself, and Gira is the only one that doesn't know. Like, he is also the only one that doesn't understand the subtext at all. We get to see his mind, his microns connect with one another, and yet at the end of the day, he still couldn't understand. He still couldn't get what they are actually trying to do, and that is so good. They did it once in the beginning of the series, and now they do it again in episode 31. It is still amazing, okay? It is still subarashi. I actually really love it. But then again, I think the other kings, what the king does is like really interesting as well. Like, it kind of like show us that how do I say it? I'm not sure what to say, man. Like it kind of like the action that they did seems plausible enough that it might actually be the truth, and that is what actually got Durajin itself. Because when I saw the series, when I watched how the king actually acted, I actually felt like every single thing that they did is in their character. It's like the what was his name, Yanma challenging Jeremy is totally in his character, and Himeno kind of like using Morphone to bribe Rita is totally in her character as well. Like even Rita submitted to the bribe of Morphone. I want to say that it is not her character, but then again, we never actually saw her. Like we actually get to see her like being, like misguided a little bit by Morphone. So that is also really, really amazing. And I think the last one, like when we saw Dibowski doing something stupid like Ventora shouting to the aliens, and like he wanted to coexist with the aliens itself. It seems like Dibowski would actually be the king to actually do that, because he actually is the king, the only king that sided with Rakles when Rakles is the main villain of the show. Okay, so I think that is really, really amazing. We actually get to see how every single character, every single king is acting in their character and what their character would do if they choose to be selfish. And that is what sells the prank. Like even for me, I was like, oh man, like I know they are eventually gonna come together, but I was like thinking how. I really did not expect it to be a prank, but then again, it is still something amazing. Okay, really, really subarashi. I love it. And I don't know, man, like another amazing thing in this episode is definitely the Zod fight. After 4 episodes of not having a Zod fight, finally get to see another Zod fight is really, really subarashi. But I really love how nimble Jeremy's mom fight actually is. Like even in the giant form, we get to see her jump around, spin around, kick around. She is still really, really OP. And I love how the Zod fight itself is not really the main point of this episode. It is just kind of like a means to the ends. Like they need to defeat Jeremy's mom. So what they need to do is to summon the God King Ohger, something like that. And that is something we don't even really get to see their fight. Okay, like most of the time we actually spend time in Jeremy's like inner monologue, and she's like trying to say like, hey mom, I love you, before they do the final blow to Jeremy's mother itself. So I think that is really, really interesting. Okay, but seeing how this episode actually turns everything upside down, how the Ohsama Sentai managed to win against and outsmart the Galactic Insect King Durajin, we might actually see the ending of the series really, really soon. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I think we are not gonna go past 40 episodes. Okay, like if they manage to figure a way to drag on until like 45 or even 50 episodes, this is gonna be really, really bad. Okay, I really hope they actually stop when they are good to stop. Episode 40 is definitely like one of the best places to stop, or even like episode 35 or 36 is enough for me. I think they, especially with how they show the mind of Durajin right now, because Durajin he's being played and he start to get bored. He felt like, oh, this is boring, and when the king gets bored, like he no longer want to play. When he no longer wants to play, he wants to end things. He wants to just get this over with. He wants to move on to the next planet, something like that. So I'm not sure how are they gonna defeat the Galactic Insect King. I'm not sure how they are gonna defeat Durajin, but I really don't want to see like kind of like 19 episodes later they managed to defeat, like in episode 50 out of nowhere, okay, they managed to defeat Durajin. Like 19 more episodes, like what are you gonna do in 19 episodes, man? And I actually find it really interesting that they already announced the next Sentai series title, which is Bugnarak Sentai Boom Boom Ja. I actually make a theory video about what it could actually be, but I have another idea that I'm gonna make another video about, so make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. And with that being said, next week we are actually gonna see a crossover episode. We already talked about this and it is gonna be really interesting, and I feel like the way they kind of like introduce the crossover is also really smart, and it's not kind of like out of place, it's not really forceful. So I think they managed to done it really in a really amazing way, which I really appreciate. Okay, but that is all from me. Hope you enjoy. If you like what you see, you know what to do. But before you leave, I would love you to comment the word Allen key in the comment section below. Why Allen key? Because there's an Allen key in front of me. I don't know why I have it on the table. Must be something important. I don't have problem with my memory. I don't have a problem. Okay, I just saw it on the table, but I do have a problem with mess. Okay, my table right now, you can't really see what is going on, but it is a mess. It is a total mess. I really need to clean my room, so I'm just gonna end it here, edit it, publish it, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. And I'm gonna clean my room. Goodbye.